back with book number 4. This week, it took a little bit to get into this book, only because I was in such a funk from the last book, to be honest, but I loved this book. This time I did Rising Strong with Brené Brown. So I'd gotten such an amazing, I don't know, it was just a really outstanding book, the last one I read of hers, so I decided to read another one. So before I get into it, I'm going to give you a quick little interesting fact about me. When I read a book, I am one of the infamous horrible dog ears people in my books, so I don't hesitate to fold over the top of the page when I'm done my day. But another thing I do is, if you look closely, when I read a book, I actually dog ear the bottom of the page on pages where I really enjoy something or I want to go back and read it again. So you can always tell how much I've loved a book by how many times I, fold it over the page on the bottom side. It's just my little thing that I do. So dog ear haters, not sorry. They're my books. I can kind of do what I want with them. So this book really went into rumbling. What are the stories, for me it was, what are the stories that I am creating around something? So when some sort of feeling or emotion comes up or something's going on and I can't figure out what it is. So for example, this last few months I've been struggling with this really overwhelming feeling of loneliness. I could not figure out what was going on because I'm surrounded by amazing people and I have awesome friends and the most outstanding husband and family, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. And when I was reading this book, one of her quotes is, "The irony is that we attempt to disown our difficult stories to appear more whole or acceptable. But our wholeness, even our wholeheartedness, actually depends on the integration of all of our experiences, including the falls." And so as I kept reading, that kept triggering in the back of my head. And I've always been the person who owns my crap. It's the story of my life. It's what's happened to me. It's what's gone on. If you know me, you know that I'm very open about my past. But to really dig in and look at it in a different way. And so when I got to, it was page 86 for anyone reading it, and she goes into the write your shitty first draft. So looking at what's actually going on in your head, what's actually going on in your body when you're dealing with a situation, because it's really just a story we're creating. There's not really a lot of fact around it, but we need to rumble in it. We need to actually allow ourselves to feel those feels. And I realized that it was a loneliness coming from the fact that I'm almost 38. I don't have kids. Everybody around me is surrounded with their children. And it's an interesting time to be childless. And it's due to infertility and other issues, but still, it's an interesting time in my life to be living. And it taught me that I need to really step out and I need to seek that tribe. I need to step up and ask for it and enforce that in my life and really put intention behind the time I spend with people so that I'm not going there. And the things that she says to look at is the story you're making up, right? That I am actually alone, what my emotions are around it, what my body's doing, my thinking, my beliefs, and my actions. So if there's something in your life that you need to rumble on or you've never really understood how to do that, where to go, how to get there with it, I highly recommend this book. This was a really, really interesting one for me. It's something that I've brought up a lot since I read it, and I'm often talking to people these days going, I'm just rumbling on something. And people look at me like I'm strange, but it makes complete sense if you've read the book. So highly recommend it. And Brené Brown, if you're in any way, shape, or form actually reading this, please keep putting out these books because they're freakishly outstanding. Can't wait to tell you what I'm reading next. Talk to you guys soon.